Hello everyone, my name is Baimagambetova and now I'm going to present my research study titled as Challenges TFL Students Face Within Exchange Program. The purpose of the study is to identify and describe the challenges TFL students face within exchange program regarding the academic and cultural gains. And then the significance of the study is to determine not only the benefits of the exchange program, but also the main difficulties that students face, which prevent most of them from applying for the exchange program. And here my research questions: what kind of challenges do fellow students face within the exchange program regarding the academic and cultural gains? How differ to fellow students' opinions about the expectations of the exchange program before and after their experience? And there is a list of authors and their studies that I have used in my literature review. So let's move on to the research methods. This study used mixed approaches such as quantitative and qualitative. And the participants of the current research study consisted of junior and senior TFL students who have already completed their one term of study at the host universities in the UK, South Korea, China, Cyprus, Malaysia, and Lithuania. And they have already participated in the student exchange program within Süleyman Demirel University and Erasmus student program. To achieve the main purpose of the study, 14 exchange students were interviewed. Meanwhile, those students also participated in the questionnaire, in which totally 25 students were asked to respond. And next is instrumentation questionnaire. It was aimed at complementing the data received from interview questions and at the same time to get the exchange students' background information. It was conducted through Google Forms and it contains 9 questions and 1 open-ended questions. 9 questions such as multiple choice questions, yes-no questions, and the Likert scale questions, and the 1 open-ended question was used in order to get additional feedback and suggestions. And the next one is interview. Unfortunately, due to the current issue which occurred around the world, also affected the education system in which all the universities and schools transferred to distant teaching. And because of that, it wasn't able to conduct interview face-to-face orally. Therefore, it was conducted through WhatsApp Messenger in a document form, and it contains 6 questions. By the way, all the participants were informed beforehand about the purpose, significance, and the process of the study, and they were all provided the consent letter. And let's look at the findings. The first, let's start from the quantitative findings. The first question was about the program they applied for. According to the results, 84% of the respondents studied through the student exchange program within Süleyman Demirel University, while the other 16% of the respondents participated in Erasmus program. And as it's illustrated in figure 2, as you see here, the participants were asked about their preferences while choosing the particular university for exchange. And according to the results, 9 respondents out of 25 chose the option about their interest in that particular country, while only 1 respondent preferred to go for exchange because of his interest in the particular host university. And it shows the same result with those who chose it because it was recommended by the home university and other exchange student. Also, other 4 respondents chose that there were no option, while 9 respondents chose more than 2 options. And the third question was about the awareness of the credit differences and the curriculum of the required subjects. According to the results, 13 respondents answered yes, while 9 respondents answered no, and the other 12% of the respondents chose as the other option. The fourth question was about the number of the credit differences they took in their home university. So let's look at the major findings. According to the results, 36% of the respondents didn't take any credit difference in their home university, while 28% of the respondents credit difference were between 3 and 5, while the rest 12% of the respondents credit differences were between 3 and 5. And the next question was about to what extent did of each following reasons were important elements to their decision applying for exchange program. And according to the results, to improve foreign language, second language acquisition, to visit foreign country, to get acquainted with the culture of other foreign countries, to experience yourself in a new, different environment, and to benefit from exchange opportunities and the Erasmus scholarship were very important elements, while the last remaining element to improve their career perspectives after graduation was just an important element. And the sixth question is related to the fifth question about did it meet all their expectations. And according to the results, 23 respondents answered yes, while only one respondent answered no, and only one respondent chose the option partially. The seventh question was about their language improvement and which language was improved better. So let's look at the major findings. According to the result, 48% of the respondents improved their English, while 28% of the respondents improved their second language, and the rest 8% of the respondents improved their English and second language as well. So the eighth question about to what extent did of each following reasons of conversation issues influence the intercultural communication with others. And according to the results regarding the stereotypes against other cultures, respondents answered neutral. They gave neutral response, and culture shock had a large extent while interacting with others, and their low language proficiency had little extent, while their lack of motivation had very little extent. And the last one, their lack of motivation had large extent while interacting. And the last question was about the overall satisfaction about the host university's grading system and education experience. And according to the result, 52% of the respondents were very satisfied, while 16% of the respondents were satisfied. And one respondent answered neutral, while 28% of the respondents showed their dissatisfaction. And there are my interview questions. So let's look quickly at the qualitative findings. And they were asked about when and why they decided to participate in the exchange program. According to the result, they participated in exchange program during the period between the second term of the second year and the first term of their third year study. And the main reasons were to improve English and the second language acquisition, to see new places and to travel, to expand their horizons, to be aware of other cultures. And the second question was about the difference in their grades after and before and after the exchange. Through the collected data, there was the same number of students among those whose grades were improved after the exchange and the students whose grades remained unchanged, while only 4 students noticed a decrease in their grades. And the main factors were motivation to study, different education and grading system, and a convenient environment between the teacher and the student. In response to a third question about the benefits from adapting to a new culture, I used Byram's assessment criteria in order to evaluate their cultural gains and the intercultural competence. They include assessment criteria includes 5 steps, such as interest in other people's way of life, knowledge about another country and the culture, knowledge of the intercultural communication process, the ability to cope with living in a different culture, and the last one is the ability to change one's perspective. And the first question was about their uh, cultural difficulties, and according to the result, more than half of the students faced difficulties while interacting with foreign students, and only 4 students encountered cultural difficulties in terms of food and upbringing mentality in the cultures of the host countries. And the fifth question was about the similarities and the difference of the education system of the host country, and according to the result, there were more differences instead of similarities in terms of completing the task, assignments with specific requirements, examination format, teaching method approach, grading system, and the classroom management. And the last question was about the expectations about the exchange program, and according to the result, almost all of them had positive and successful expectations, and only 2 students were not satisfied with the service of the International Relationship Office and the process of English in Asian countries. And there is a conclusion. To sum up, this paper has analyzed the challenges TFL exchange students face regarding the academic and the cultural gains, and has demonstrated the benefits of the exchange program. Research results derived from the interview and the questionnaire reveal that most of the exchange students benefit from the exchange program in improving their academic gains in terms of developing language skills, expanding their minds, and studying with different methods of teaching. Meanwhile, the results also indicated that barriers to academic gains, such as non-recognition of credit differences and the curriculum, and as well as the decrease in grades after exchange. Regarding cultural gains, students' benefits in adapting to a new culture was analyzed through Byram's ICC model and his criteria assessment, and the findings suggest that exchange students improved their cultural gains since they exhibited all the components of intercultural competence. Consequently, culture shock was regarded as a significant reason to exchange students' cultural difficulties while interacting with others from different cultural backgrounds and adapting to different cultures. Further analysis on the findings of the interview in response to students' opinions about the expectations of the exchange program before and after the experience, a large majority of the students mentioned that their expectations were fully justified. For the rest, 14% of the respondent students expected more regarding the service of the International Relationship Office and the process of English teaching. And here my recommendations to further studies. To conduct study not only with exchange students of 2 foreign languages department, but also with other departments, exchange students like engineering and business school. To conduct study with exchange students of other EMI universities like Nazarbayev University and the Kazakh Bridge Technical University. And the last one is to design the questionnaire with more open-ended questions in order to get more accurate information. So thank you all for your attention. Goodbye.